Well, it's the weekend, and when it's the weekend, it's Michael Snyder, and he's out there in California, and he's watching the movies for you, so you don't have to. How you doing, Michael?
I'm okay, and this is one of those weeks where I'm kind of caught in the middle. I'm happy to help, but man, it isn't always as much fun as I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
Shall we get down to business?
You go right ahead.
Well, let's start with Alien Covenant, which is the second prequel to the Alien movies. And like the previous prequel, Prometheus, it's been directed by the original Alien director, Ridley Scott. And that sort of excited me. I thought, okay, you know. And then I thought about Prometheus, which was an attempt to give an origin story for the perfect extraterrestrial killing machines of the series. If you've seen Alien or Aliens, these movies go back to sort of give you a basis for what happens, where the aliens come from. Now, if you haven't seen Prometheus and want to avoid spoilers for that movie, here's an alert. In Prometheus, an advanced race dubbed the Makers apparently seeded Earth with their own DNA in prehistoric times, creating man and setting off the events where a human crew in our future gets in a spaceship with an android companion from the megalithic Weyland Corporation, they're not evil, and go off in search of their interstellar origins, only to encounter what is essentially the biochemical building blocks of a proto-alien, and of course that means they're near destruction. In Covenant, that first ship was deemed lost, and people said, oh, let's go back out into space. So a new ship from Earth is on its way to colonize a distant planet on the far side of the galaxy, with the crew and with colonists in sleeping pods, and an upgraded android like the one in Prometheus watching over the ship. Oh, what could possibly go wrong? How about a cosmic storm that caused the ship to seek shelter on a planet that's been sending out a signal with a human voice? As you might suspect, this ties in with Prometheus and ends up bringing this group of humans into contact with, I don't know, aliens, the next generation, or closer to the aliens we know. And at least we get a little more insight into their creation, for better or worse. Rather than leaving the aliens a species of danger and mystery, this creation of a backstory kind of diminishes the creatures, although the actual movie itself, Covenant, effectively reproduces some of the haunted house B-movie thrills of the very first Aliens movie, albeit in the service of this origin. So in that way, it's kind of like Star Wars The Force Awakens, you know, a movie that hits a lot of the same beats of an earlier installment in the series, and again, offering diminishing returns. The scale is bigger. The action is, I don't know, chest-bustingly exciting. Michael Fassbender is quite good as the android Walter, as he was as the android David from the previous movie Prometheus, and the crew members led by Catherine Waterston as a figure kind of like Sigourney Weaver's Ripley in the classic Alien movies, and also featuring Billy Crudup, Danny McBride, Damian Bashir. I mean, everybody plays their parts and plays them well. And the effects are more special due to the ever-developing tech. The alien, again, evokes the original creature designer H.R. Geiger's fantastic, imaginative, and creepy vision. And I had a good time watching it. I thought it was better, maybe more satisfying than Prometheus, but I still came away thinking it was a retcon job, you know, as in reworking continuity or putting an unnecessary spin or foundation on a property that had its best offerings in its first two films, Alien, directed by Ridley Scott, and Aliens, directed by James Cameron. So, you know, caveat emptor, this is the sort of thing you'd probably enjoy on the big screen, bargain matinee time, perhaps, but, you know, ultimately, it's product, and it's product that maybe brings down a little of the excitement of the original spawning ground for what I loved. I loved those first two films. Everything is a tender drama about a teenage girl who's lived a very sheltered life because she's allergic to everything. She has the massive immunodeficiency. So, of course, she's living in the bubble of her home, cared for by her overprotective mom. But she falls for the boy who moves in next door and decides to take a risk and leave the bubble. Uh-oh, what's going to happen with their romance, and what's going to happen with her health and her mom, and how about his somewhat abusive father? This is not as obnoxious as, say, a Nicholas Sparks romance, and it's certainly aimed at teenage girls, not me. And I don't say that with any arrogance, and I don't say that, to diminish this, but, and it is less saccharine. And the two lead actors, Amanda Stenberg and Nick Robinson, are very appealing. She actually, the last time I think I saw her, she was a victim in one of the Hunger Games movies, and maybe considerably younger. And she's quite good in this. And there's a sort of post-racial aspect of it insofar as, she's black and he's white, and, there's star-crossed love can never be. But ultimately, I thought it was kind of meh. A little like piffle. I wanted more emotional depth, and indeed the actors kind of deliver as best as they could. Written by J. Mills Goodlow, based on a book I think that tweens read, and directed by Stella Meggy. Everything is not directed at me. I think teenagers, particularly female teenagers, might enjoy it. I kind of was left a little on the chilly side. You go into these things again with your hopes up, and I try to be open-minded, but there you go. Wakefield was a much better film for me, and it's an adaptation of an E.L. Doctorow short story by Robin Sweetcord, and Sweetcord has in the past written The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, the Jane Austen Book Club. She wrote the Memoirs of a Geisha screenplay. She wrote the Matilda screenplay. She's done some good work. And, here she directs. Perhaps, I believe this is the second time she's directed her own work. She did Jane Austen Book Club. And I think this is a pretty good film. And it's helped immensely by Bryan Cranston as the lead, a guy from the suburbs, a commuter named Howard Wakefield, who comes home one day, goes out into his carriage house and starts watching his family and never rejoins them. We see some of his kind of flashback memories of his relationship with his wife, played by Jennifer Garner, and he sort of hides out there, and he becomes a scrounger, watching their lives as he sort of retreats from his normal existence. And it takes an actor like Bryan Cranston to be compelling in a situation like this. And he beautifully conveys the change in Wakefield's attitudes towards his life and towards what he has left behind. I can't tell you how good Cranston is in this. You've got to watch it, but it's a downer. Believe me, it's a downer. Good supporting work from Jason O'Mara and Beverly D'Angelo. Robin Sweetcord is a talent, and here she makes a movie that's not for everybody. It's sort of deeper, darker drama than some might like. But again, come for Cranston, if nothing else. He's fantastic. Let's wrap it up with a foreign film. Oh, don't get scared. It's Thomas Vinterberg, a wonderful Danish director who has done movies including the recent remake of Far From the Madding Crowd in English, The Hunt, The Celebration. He's a wonderful director, and this is a story called The Commune about the clash between basically personal desires and solidarity and tolerance in a Danish commune in the 1970s. The period detail is great. Subtitles. It's not in English, but man, this is a good film with a fantastic cast. It's one of those pieces that suggests that all the best and most noble intentions can't counter some baser human instincts and drives. Essentially, the people that pull this commune together are a husband and wife. He's an architecture professor, and she's a TV newswoman that everybody knows and recognizes on the street. And they get his father's house when the father passes away, and he decides it's too big just for the couple of us and our offspring. We should bring in a few people to make it less expensive and try communal living. Of course, at the time in Scandinavia, everybody was doing this for some reason. Communes were a big deal, this post-hippie 70s existence. But things really don't go in an ideal fashion. This is not, the perfect kibbutz, if you will. As a matter of fact, the actress who plays Anna, the wife, Trina Derholm, won Best Actress at the 2016 Berlin Film Festival for the performance. Everyone in this cast none of whom are familiar to American audiences. I doubt if anybody in the movie is. They're all great. Vinterberg co-wrote it and directed it. The Commune, the most fun of these 4 films, even with all those aliens running around in the first one we talked about. That's it in terms of new movies. What have you got going on, sir?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, that's it.
Okay. Well, all I can say is maybe next week there'll be more fun. We will be back. In the meantime, you can catch me at Twitter by checking into @CultureBlaster, and on the Facebook's Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page, where you can listen to me and Alex go at it and read articles and such. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Michael. And there's more GABNet coming right up.